Welcome to SOPREMA. This video will teach you how to construct a flat roof and make it waterproof using bituminous roofing membranes. We will guide you through the entire process step by step. Carl, one of our field instructors at SOPREMA, will demonstrate how it's done. He will demonstrate the correct installation of all roofing membranes, paying close attention to detail to ensure the roof is durable and well built. This step is essential to ensure the vapor barrier adheres properly to the roof base. In this video, the roof base is made of OSB boards. Pour the primer into the bucket and apply it evenly across all surfaces. Start with the upstands, working from the top down. Next, apply the primer to the top of the upstands and then move on to the flat surface. Make sure all surfaces are fully covered. Leave the primer to dry for as long as necessary, depending on the outside temperature. Only then should you proceed to the next step. The self-adhesive vapor barrier forms an airtight, vapor-resistant barrier. This barrier protects the insulation layer that is placed on top of it. Roll out the first strip of vapor barrier onto the roof surface. Leave a sufficient margin at the sides. Base this margin on the thickness of the insulation. The vapor barrier should rise at least 5 centimeters above the insulation layer. Fold the sides of the strip inwards and cut the protective film along the folds. First, remove the film, then stick the vapor barrier to the roof surface. Next, remove the film from the sides and stick it to the upstands. Repeat this process for the next strips. Use a roller or soft brush to press the vapor barrier down firmly everywhere. Pay particular attention to the corners and joints. Once the vapor barrier has been installed, you can install the insulation layer. This layer must be glued directly onto the vapor barrier. Begin with the tap hole compartment. For this, use an insulation board that is 2 centimeters thinner than the standard boards. This will create a depression for water to drain into the tap hole. Next, insulate the rest of the roof with standard insulation boards. Cut the boards to size and arrange them in a staggered pattern. Apply 3 or 4 strips of foam adhesive per board to the vapor barrier. Press the boards down firmly, but do not flatten the adhesive completely. Insulate the entire roof, then allow the insulation layer to rest briefly before moving on to the next step. In this step, we will finish the tap hole compartment. This will ensure that water from the roof drains smoothly into the tap hole. Cut approximately 2 centimeters off the thicker insulation boards along the edges of the compartment. Cut at a 45-degree angle to create a smooth transition. Next, cut an opening in the vapor barrier at tap hole level against the upstand. Tip: heat your knife to make cutting easier and more accurate. This step involves applying the self-adhesive underlay, which forms the roof's initial waterproof layer. We will install the top layer on top of the underlay in a staggered pattern at a later point. In this video, we adjust the width of the first underlay strip to make creating the staggered pattern easier later on. Cut a piece to size for the tap hole compartment. Leave a sufficient margin on the sides that will go against the upstand. Next, remove the protective film and stick the membrane down. Then, roll out the first strip of underlay. Leave a margin of at least 10 centimeters on the sides that will go against the upstand. Begin with this strip on the side of the upstand. Cut a recess at the level of the depression to allow for correct heat sealing later. Place the next strips next to each other. Ensure there is sufficient overlap each time. Remove the protective film and stick the strips down. Heat seal the longitudinal and end seams to make the underlay waterproof. Ensure that the drain pipe connects properly to the roof surface. Heat seal the membrane to the underlay. Make sure you don't damage the drain. Once the drain has been installed, apply the underlay edge strips to the upstands. Start at the tap hole. Cut the strips to size and heat seal them to the upstand. Make sure that the seams of the edge strips and the underlay are not aligned. Pay particular attention to the corners. next step is to finish off the compartment for the tap hole with the top layer. Cut a piece of the top layer to size for the compartment. Leave enough margin to allow the membrane to be heat sealed to the upstand. Place the piece of top layer in the tap hole compartment. Then immediately heat seal it to the bottom layer and upstand. Starting from the center of the tap hole compartment, lay the first strip of top layer flush with the upstand. Leave a 15 cm overlap and then cut it to size. Roll the top layer back halfway. Then, roll it back out while heat sealing the top layer to the underlay. Then align the other strips. Place these strips staggered on top of the underlay strips. Finally, roll the strips up again and then roll them out one by one while heat sealing them. Try to limit the outflow of bitumen to 10 mm for a nice finish. Use a trowel or hot knife to make an opening in the membrane for the drain. In this step, we apply the edge strips of the top layer against the upstands. Begin at the tap hole compartment. Cut the edge strips to size. Then heat seal them to the upstand and on top of it. Leave a 100 mm margin on the roof surface. For a neat finish, you can always apply a chalk line when doing this. Repeat this process with all the other edge strips around the roof. Make sure the strips fit neatly together and into the corners. The next step is to install the roof edge profiles. First, fix the corner profiles to the outside of the roof edge. Secure them mechanically on top of the upstand. Leave a clearance of around 3 mm to allow the profile to expand with temperature changes. Then, cut the straight roof edge profiles to size and place them between the corner profiles. Screw the profiles in place, working your way around the entire roof. The final step is to finish the roof. First, apply the finishing strips to the roof edge profile. Then heat seal them to the upstand. Continue working around the roof until all the edges are neatly finished. And that's it! Your flat roof is now waterproof. Well done!